God forbid, I'm in a situation where I have to enforce a boundary and I pop off on someone. Like, what? No, we can't be doing that. What is up, you guys? It's me, Gaylyn Lareese, and welcome back to another Girl Talk video here on my channel. If you feel like you suck at boundaries or you just are having a really difficult time with them, that's why I made this video. I've been learning some things recently when it comes to boundaries, and I figured, why not share it with y'all? In my last video, I talked all about overwhelm and dealing with overwhelm, and the truth is, if you're not setting boundaries, you will become overwhelmed. So I'll go ahead and link that video for you guys up top in the cards. But in this video, I'm gonna share with you guys some tips and some tangible takeaways to help you think about boundaries in a different way. If you have not already, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up because it lets me know that you guys enjoy videos like these, and let's go ahead and jump into this video. So I always start off with my Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel, so let's go ahead and put that on. And I'm also gonna put on my Aquaphor lip balm. So if you feel like you suck at boundaries, chances are it is because you are probably looking at boundaries as an inherently negative thing. And this is kind of where I used to come from when it came to boundaries. I used to think, oh no, boundaries means that I've done something wrong and someone is trying to push me out, or someone else has done something wrong and I have to stand my ground. And what I've found is that boundaries, if you look at them as a positive thing instead of as a negative thing, it automatically changes your perspective on when you have to enforce them. Look at me, starting the video and not at all starting the makeup, per usual. I'm gonna go in with some color corrector first. So this is why I am always talking to you guys about understanding your body, taking care of your body. This is why the stretch videos exist on my channel, is because when you take better care of your body, you become much more picky with what you do with it, who you're around with it, and the environments that you place yourself in, because you've put effort into making your body the best it can be. And I found that one of the reasons why I was maybe letting some of my boundaries slip by and wasn't enforcing them is because I wasn't doing what I needed to do to keep my body being something that I constantly felt proud of. And this doesn't have to do so much with being a certain size or eating a certain diet. Once you start to make your body and your relationship with your body and just everything that has to do with your physical self, it will affect your mental self, meaning it will affect how you feel about yourself, and it will affect the situations that you place yourself in. That's one of the reasons why this body and mind stretch retreat that I'm about to have at the top of next year, which if you have not checked it out, I suggest you go ahead and do so. Because I've found that dancers, because we grow up around dance teachers who are constantly telling us what to do with our bodies, and we grow up in front of a mirror that's telling us if our body is right or wrong, we don't have a sense of self when it comes to our relationship with our body. I just see so many dancers who are struggling mentally with setting boundaries in their personal lives, in their dance lives, and that stuff, everything is conditioning, so that stuff is taught to you, you know? And at some point you have to choose yourself over all of those outside things. And once you do that, you end up deciding for yourself what things you are and aren't okay with doing. And that's the next thing that I think people misunderstand about boundaries, is they think boundaries are about the other person. And it's really more about you and you stopping yourself from being spoken to a certain way. You stopping yourself from being put in a position where people will disrespect you or just overcross, lines that you've already decided you're not okay with. We can't control other people. We can only control ourselves. And setting boundaries is really about telling yourself first, I'm not going to do that. And then all you have to do is tell other people. So instead of, you can't talk to me that way, because we can't control how people talk to us. For me, my boundary has been, if you're going to talk to me this way, then I'm going to end the conversation. Or if someone asks you to do something that you're not fully comfortable with, because let's be real, if you are asked to do something and your brain starts thinking about it and backing and forth about it, then chances are you don't actually want to do it. And something I always tell myself is, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. I can't remember who I got that from, but it's not from me, it's from someone else. But if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And if it is a no, then that means there's an opportunity here for you to set a boundary, because chances are the person who is bringing whatever this is to you, they probably don't know that you don't want to do it. In those circumstances, if someone is asking you to do something that you realize you don't want to do, I can't do X, but I can do Y. And there you are actually establishing what the boundary is, and you're letting them know the things that are allowed within that boundary. So the next time that they come to you, they actually come to you with something that you would be okay with doing. Now, if they don't, then you know that they don't really care about what your boundaries are. And then you make a choice from there, I think I'm gonna do a halo green eye. We'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna start on the outside edge first with the dark color. Now, the next thing that I don't think people realize if they suck at boundaries, if you think you suck at boundaries, maybe you may not realize that boundaries are for the people who you care about in your life. They're not against them. And when I heard this, it really changed how I thought about boundaries. Because again, we can think that, oh, I have to assert my boundaries means I have to hurt someone's feelings, right? But in all honesty, hearing that made me realize that asserting a boundary is giving the person who you're talking to an opportunity to stay in your friend group. Because it's the opportunity for you to tell them, hey, the thing that you're requesting me to do, I don't want to do that. And if you keep asking me to do that, I'm gonna have to not be around as much, And in asserting the boundary with love, which we will get to in a second, you give them the opportunity to stay a part of your friend group, because they don't know. People can't read your mind. And there have been instances where I've been like, why would that person ask me to do that? Like, don't they know that that's ridiculous to ask someone? They don't. Some people don't. Some people don't assert boundaries in their own friendships, so they expect other people to just do the same thing and to just let everything slide and to do stuff for the sake of, keeping the peace or whatever it is, And that's not me. That's not me. I got too much stuff to do. And too little time to do it. And I can't do that. That will show you the people who actually care about you, because people who care about you, they don't want to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, They care. And when you, come on now, where's the thing I'm looking for? And when you enforce that boundary, now they know, and it possibly could encourage other people around you to do the same thing in their own relationships, because a lot of times people are doing things based off of their own experiences. And something that I've learned is that 90% of how someone acts has everything to do with them and almost nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with anything that you've done. Because a lot of times when people cross our boundaries, we're like, oh, you tested me. It's not that deep. They're just responding how they're used to respond, how they're used to responding. And so you have to show them that that's not okay and that that's not going to work for you. Now, the other half of this, which is what I was saying before, is that you have to learn how to enforce boundaries with love. A lot of people group a lot of different ways, and so they take criticism or suggestions in a lot of different ways based on purely what they've experienced. And again, has everything to do with them, nothing to do with you. And so when you present someone with a boundary, doing it with love shows that it's not coming from a bad place, that it's essentially something that you've just accepted is a part of your life and is something that you do regularly. And I've found that enforcing boundaries with love is always the way to go. Think about your tone, ladies. You know, my tone is something that I have been working on. Honestly, I gotta say I'm proud of myself. I've gotten better at adjusting my tone to certain situations. One, because you can't let everything spin you out, okay? You will be tired. You will have lost all of your energy. And for me, the reason why I set boundaries is so I don't even get to that point, you know? Because if you're doing something that you didn't want to do or how you didn't want to do it and you agreed to do it anyway, that whole time doing it, you're going to have a terrible time. You might even have a low attitude, you know? And of course you would, because you didn't want to do it. You didn't want to be there. You didn't want to participate, whatever it is. If you enforce that boundary with love, hey, I don't think this is going to be a good fit for me because I don't really enjoy doing XYZ. Thank you for thinking of me, but I don't think that's something I'm interested in doing right now. Simple. It changes the conversation. And I honestly think that enforcing boundaries is a sign of growth. There are things that I used to do and used to say that I don't say anymore. And I was talking to one of my friends recently, and I had sent her an old text message that I had sent to someone. And she was just like, oh, I'm so glad you don't send text messages like this anymore. I didn't curse them out because that's not my character, okay? But I did go in. But I'm a different person now. And I have learned that in setting boundaries, it has allowed me to step into this next version of who I'm supposed to be, so that when I do get bigger opportunities and bigger things come from this growth, that I'm able to manage it and handle it. Because God forbid, I'm in a situation where I have to enforce a boundary and I pop off on someone. Like, what? No, we can't be doing that. We can't be doing that. And so being able to assert boundaries with love not only shows growth, but it also shows professionalism, you guys. And that matters just as much. Because I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I live here in Los Angeles. I see a lot of entertainment related people. A lot of them can be very unprofessional, you know? And boy, is it really nice when I finally meet someone who is professional, you know? It's a little brighter that I'm going for, but we're here now, and I said I was doing a green halo eye, so that's what I'm doing. Ooh, okay, pigmentation. The NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette, I got this forever ago. I love NYX, honestly. This is my version of like Halloween makeup fun, you know? I like watching other people. I like watching other people do Halloween. The preparation. Now, something that might get me into Halloween, the wigs. I've decided that 2023 is going to be the year of the wigs for me. I want to try every single wig that I have not tried before. I'm determined to. Or every single wig that I want to try that I have not tried before. Because there have been looks that I want to try just to see if I can pull it off. And if I can't pull it off, well, you live and you learn, you know? Okay, that's not bad. I think once we get some eyeliner on there, we'll be able to make something shake. I'm using the Epic ink liner. It has a lot of black in it. So if you have darker skin, this one looks really good. Because sometimes, even some of NYX's eyeliners, they don't, you know, pack a punch for the brown girls. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyeliner off camera and then I'll come back on. Now, my next little tidbit about boundaries has to do with me, you, us, the people who are setting boundaries. A lot of people, because I used to do this, I was not setting boundaries for myself as a friend for how deeply invested I was going to get into my friends' issues, into my friends' woes. I have learned that, one, we have to give our friends the grace of solving their own problems. We have to let them know that we trust that they are going to make the best decision for themselves. It is not my job to make decisions for my friends. It is my friends' jobs to make decisions for themselves and for me to stand by them while they are doing that. Which means we have to give people the grace of their own journey and let people make mistakes. I feel like sometimes as friends, we don't want our friends to make mistakes so badly that we become way too invested in their issues, in their problems, when those are their things to solve, you know? And when I set those boundaries for myself, in my head, for Gaylyn, I felt my friendships getting better because my friends felt more empowered to make decisions for themselves. And I know that as friends, our friends want our opinions on things. I am always offering my friends my opinions on things if they ask for it. But their issues are their issues. And as a good friend, it is only your job to remind them that I know that you are going to make the best decision for yourself because you know what you want to get out of this situation. When you tell your friends that, it makes them like, oh shoot, like I don't want to let them down. I want to make sure I am making the best decision for myself. And now, because you've set that boundary for yourself in your head, that's not your problem. My only job is to be there for my friends, to listen, to really listen. It's not our job to fix people. And I think that's ultimately what it is it's like, it's not our job to go around fixing people. And if we want our friends to actually elevate and grow just like we are growing, just like we're seeing growth from asserting our own boundaries in our lives, we have to give them the opportunity to have to make those decisions. And we're not doing that if we're constantly making those decisions for them or trying to make them make certain decisions. You gotta assert boundaries in your own head, you know? All right, let me put on my Maybelline Fit Me in Cappuccino, and I usually mix this with coconut.
I'm telling you that there ain't no other way. Pack your bags and then you will go away. I'm not gonna be begging you to stay. Said maybe if you asked me yesterday, I would handle this differently. Things are different, I'm a new me. That's not gonna happen.
Because I've been speaking up more when I am not comfortable with things or when I don't like things, like I said, I've been actually finding that I've been received very well. And the instances that I wasn't received very well, then now you have more information, you know? But I am always happy when I do, when it's over, I'll say that. I worry a little bit before it happens. And all you have to do, if you're nervous about setting a boundary, is practice. It just takes practice. You just have to practice doing it like you practice doing anything else. Essentially, give yourself lines like the performer that you are, okay? Practice the lines. Because chances are you know the people around you. You know what they're about to ask you to do or how they're about to say something, or you know how it's gonna go down. Practice your lines. Practice how you're gonna turn that down or how you're gonna de-escalate a situation, you know? If there's a conversation that you need to have, practice how you're gonna start off the conversation. Hey, I've noticed something has been a pattern and I'm not really comfortable with it, so I wanted to share it with you so that we can be on the same page. Practice! I'm telling you, you will go into it feeling way more confident. It's still, the green needs something. It needs a shimmer. Oh, maybe that's not what I needed. Maybe it's not what I needed. Well, here we are. Ooh, I have like a shimmery eyeliner.
Space. I don't appreciate the chase. Now there's nothing here for me.
Oh, I really like that. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera, but in person, it looks really good with these earrings I have on. And then for mascara, I'm using the Lash Sensational Luscious Hydrofuge. That is so much. Cute. Okay, let's get to this hair. Starting off with me parting it down the center. I've been using these big old jumbo clips. Look at how big it is in comparison to my hand. Huge, right? And it has the combs. They're by Conair. I got them from Rite Aid. Love them. So I already have, is that center? A center-ish, a center-ish part. So I'm gonna just let that be what it is. And I'm gonna start out on one side, and I'm actually gonna put a little bit, just a little bit of this refresher spray to help me pull it back. And I have these satin scrunchies that I got from Amazon, again for the coily girls, so they don't dry out your hair. And I'm gonna do both sides. I'm gonna start just putting both sides in little puffs. The last thing that I wanted to tell you guys about boundaries, and it's kind of related to the very first thing that I shared, because I know some of you guys may be like, okay, Gaylyn, but like, where do I start? Like, I don't even know what my boundaries are, you know? Especially if you haven't been in a practice of establishing boundaries, it can be hard to know where to start, and I totally get that. So I would advise you, when you are presented with an opportunity to do anything, you know, a social situation, a situation in your relationship, or whatever it is, take a second to pause before you respond. A lot of us can feel like the second we're asked to do something, or the second someone presents something to us, we have to respond right away. We don't. Now, if you're, you know, working on something and it's part of your work, and, you know, that's a whole different story. But even then, take a second to just think about how your body is responding to it. Do you feel yourself becoming tense, or do you feel yourself becoming more excited about the situation? Because if you're not excited about it, then chances are that you don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, that means that there's an opportunity there to enforce a boundary, to let people know, actually, don't bring this stuff to me no more, because I don't want to do it. And that's totally fine. But you gotta assess how you feel first. Okay, now I'm gonna take, and this is actually what I used to do with my ballet buns when I would do my natural hair in a bun. So you're gonna take this puff, and instead of like wrapping it around or whatever, we're gonna spread it out like this. And then we're just gonna take pins and pin it down into a bun position. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a couple of pieces out of it and just let those hang out. And we're gonna do something with those in a second. Just take a couple of pieces. And then the rest, pin them down.
Baby, squad up, we finna go deep. Riding on a team, got what you need. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I hit the town, you should slide on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you.
I'm gonna take some of this Jelly Soft Curls. This is my gel of choice currently. I really like it, I really do. spraying this on it first. This is the honeydew spray. I also use this a lot on the hair just to wet it first. And then I'm gonna go in with some gel to just define those little dangly parts. Ah, look at those. Look at those little curly cuties. And I don't have it close by me, but also after I put this gel on and I let it sit for a second, I also put a little bit of oil on it too, just so it'll hold.
I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I come in town, you should slide on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all up. Everything good, keep the vibes on crush.
And that's it, you guys. This is my little Space Buns look. Super, super simple, and you can do it even if you have short hair, and it's super, super secure. So this is gonna be one of my new go-to hairstyles. I've been finding new hairstyles that I like, and definitely gonna stick with this one. But I hope you guys got something out of this video when it comes to boundaries and figuring out how to set your own and really finding what it is that your body needs, what environments you want to be in, and then using that information to decide how you interact with other people. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And of course, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because I'm always doing girl talks here. As I'm learning things, I'm coming back and I'm sharing it with you guys. And I like to play in makeup every now and then. So I will see you guys in my next video next weekend. Later.
When I hit the town, you should ride on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all up.